Hi everyone, I hope that you're having a great Saturday and that you're staying warm. Hopefully you are joining me because you are excited about hearing about Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions. Have you got an RTI system that's in place, or you're thinking about starting one and you are trying to pick the just right interventions to go in those Tier 2 and Tier 3 blocks of time that you've set aside? Well, I've got some ideas for you. My name is Diane McKinley, and I've been in education for over 20 years. I have been a teacher, I was a writing coach, I was a building level administrator, and I worked for the Indiana Department of Education in the Office of School Turnaround. And where during that time worked and helped schools to really turn around their schools and produce some results that really helped kids along the way. And so I'd love to talk to you a little bit about interventions today. I hear often that it's a real struggle, and I've lived this as well. It's a real struggle to find just the right interventions for the kids at your school. That may be because your demographics are different than a neighbor who is using some type of intervention, or it might be that you don't have the same resources. So today I'm going to share with you a couple different websites that will help you narrow down which strategies would be best for you to use in your intervention time with your students. So if you are watching me live, you can follow along with me and go on your computer as well and look up some of these websites. If you're watching me afterwards, I would love to hear some feedback and let me know how these are working out for you. So the very first one that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see, one that I'm going to be sharing with you is called What Works Clearinghouse. So if you're not familiar with What Works Clearinghouse, it looks like this, and my camera might be a little wobbly, so I apologize if that's the case. But with What Works, you're going to be able to look at a variety of things. So you are going to find different areas here. So if you're looking for literacy interventions, you would be able to click right on literacy interventions, and you could go through and look at those, and it will give you a list of interventions, and it will tell you what grades were examined in their research, and each one of these pieces is clickable. So if I were thinking about using Fast for Word, they have done some extensive research on Fast for Word from kindergarten all the way up through 10th grade. And so if I click on that, it will give me additional information that will help me figure out if this is the best method for me to use with my students. And so it tells me that they studied this with over 700 students, almost 800 students. And so it tells me which ones of those studies met the standards, and then it will give me information on whether or not that particular program worked with different sets of students. So you can do that if you're looking at What Works Clearinghouse for all the different categories you could think of. They've got literacy and mathematics and science and even behavior. You can see they have special ed, so children with disabilities, English language learners as well. So that's a great resource if you have something in mind and you want to go and look it up, and then you can just kind of click right on it and find out how effective it is. Another one that I found that's really, really helpful is under the Center for Intervention, and this is the RTI4Success.org website. You might be familiar with it. What you might not know is that they have a little spot down here over on the left that you can see where it will give you screening tool charts, and it is similar to What Works Clearinghouse, but it gives you some additional information. And so you can look at the screening tools that they've done and the validity of those screening tools. So you can see some of your large pieces here, like Acuity or Ames Web, and the list goes on and on. But it will tell you what area they studied it in, whether or not that particular piece there was generalizable or generalizability, excuse me, whether it's reliable, whether it's valid. And so as you go through there, you can also kind of vet your Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions there as well. It also gives a variety of factors. Once you click on there, there's a clickable link here that you could continue to use to go in and get even more information. Okay, the third one that I want to show you is actually called the Response to Intervention Central. So it is interventioncentral.org. And when you're on this particular site, they also give you several different tools to use. So you can find even things like an academic intervention planner that you can use with struggling students. And when you click on that, you can also see that they have a downloadable piece that you can use directly with your students that will be an entire academic planner for them for those interventions. Okay, piece number 4 I want you to take a look at. I want you, when you have some time, to go onto this website. It's called helpsforprogram.org. This gives you an actual intervention that you can purchase. They do have some free pieces on there as well. I am not affiliated with Helps at all. I just think they have a really good system that you might want to take a look at. But Helps actually goes through and does some intervention pieces. It's got training on there for any interventionists that you're going to be using in your building, whether that's teachers that you already have or you have special intervention positions created as well, where you can use this one-to-one program in your Tier 3 intervention to help students. And if you are looking at this and thinking, gosh, Diane, that'd be great, but we don't have any money to spend on that, it would be great for you to go back and check out my video on how to find funding for your school. I actually have a couple of videos on that portion as well that can help you figure out where you can find funding to get something started, whether it's Helps or some other program. But this is definitely a website worth taking a look at to find out a little bit more. And the last one I want to share with you is back with RTI Intervention Central. So if you are in Intervention Central and we pop back over, we're going to see that they have the academic interventions up here at the top that you can click on, and behavior interventions as well. And so when you click on those, it will also give you some additional pieces that you can look right at. When you click on them, each one of them has their own little tools and sheets available for you to use with that as well. If you have found any of this helpful, I would love to know what's been helpful about it. If there are additional things and questions that you have, I'd love to help you along the way as well. If you're looking at some interventions and you are looking for some help as to how to vet those, these 4 websites will really help you do that. I hope that you have a great time with your kids and that your interventions are successful. Have a great day.